Hello, 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 everybody. I am super psyched to be. Welcome to this live event. So I am thrilled because I have so many things I want to share. And at the end of this live, I will have also some big news I want to share with you of something I'm very excited that is coming very soon. So to start off with, I always start with something I'm very, very grateful for. So I am very, very grateful for, I have to admit, my cats. I really love them. I have two cats. I have a cat, a male called Fluffy, and I have a little girl called Muffin. And I had Fluffy come to my door 3.5 years ago, 2017, at the end of the year. He just actually, I saw him at the pool and I had visualized, believe it or not, I had visualized a cat that looked exactly like Fluffy. That was Ginger. I wanted an orange cat, just like Garfield. And I had visualized that cat. So and I had even named him already. I already thought one day I will have an orange cat and his name will be Fluffy. So when I saw him, I thought, Fluffy! So he jumped immediately in my arms. He was all tiny, abandoned. And I found out later that he had been abused also, the poor little thing. And so he came in my arms and oh, it was so amazing. I loved him so much. And then he vanished. And I thought I'd never see him again, but I felt like going to buy some cat food. I don't know why. I just had the urge to buy a lot of cat food. And so I did. I came back to the pool. He wasn't there. And I thought, nah, what a stupid idea to buy so much cat food when he's not there anymore. And I went to my apartment, my condo, and when I arrived at the door, there he was sitting at the doorstep, waiting for me. So I don't know how he knew where I lived. This is kind of a miracle kind of thing. And it was really, really incredible. So I got him in, and then 4 months later, Muffin showed up at my door, meow, meow, meow. And when I heard it, I said, oh no, I can't take another cat. That's so much responsibility. And I thought, oh, I hope, but to be honest, I also had visualized having a little chubby cat. Incredible but true. I had visualized that I would have this little chubby cat that would always sleep on a chair for some reason. And and anyway, so I was hoping she wouldn't be cute because I thought, oh, that would be much easier to just drop her off in a shelter if she's not adorable. And I opened the door, and of course, she was just adorable. So that's my gratitude for today. If you're joining me now, please share what you are grateful for. I always like to start my calls, my days, and even end my day with something I'm very, 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 very grateful for. And that launches kind of the intention for the full day. When you start your day with things you're grateful for, it kind of completely changes your mindset for the full day, right? If you start the day on the wrong foot, chances are your day is going to continue being on the wrong foot all day. So if you're just joining, share please what you are grateful for. It would be nice to read. And I will start right away this live on what's stopping you, what's holding you back from getting to $10,000 a month. And as I said at the beginning of this video, I always also have some incredible big news to share at the end. So stay with me till the end. So $10,000 a month. I have to tell you that I vividly, and that was almost my last thought last night before I fell asleep. I thought of you guys and of what I'm actually preparing for you guys. And the last thing I thought before I went to sleep was thinking about you and remembering vividly when I was wishing for $10,000 per month. I remember where I was. I remember my prayer. I remember the exact moment when I switched from wishing to earn $3,000 per month to starting to wish for $10,000 per month. And that's a little bit what I want to talk to you about here, but also I want to talk to you about all the reasons why you're not making them that amount of money yet, which is probably the same reasons why I wasn't making that money back then. So there was a time where, like probably all of you, we all start at the bottom very often. And so I started with my wish being, oh, if I could only have one client, it would be fantastic. And then I would make $500 a month or $1,000 a month. And then eventually it grew to wanting to make $3,000 a month. And I thought, wow, that would be spectacular. And then I grew to that day when suddenly something switched in my mind. And I totally went from wanting $3,000 a month to wanting $10,000 a month. And that switch was really first a mental switch, because before that, it never really occurred to me that I could be wishing for 10 grand a month, let alone where I'm now. I mean, I have a film production company that is in the process of requiring $150 million. So you can imagine there's a big difference. It's all here. It's all up here. So it was a big change for me to go from the $3,000 where I was at, and I was actually struggling to get to $3,000 back then, and then getting to 10,000 first as a wish, saying, wow, wouldn't that be amazing if I could earn that amount of money? And it sounded for me as if my entire life would change drastically, completely, because suddenly I would be able to go shop whenever I want. I would be able to afford a better car because my car was really in a pitiful state. I would be able to travel. So there was a lot of things that were associated with that dream, that willingness of achieving that goal. So why wasn't I getting there, and why aren't you getting there? Why aren't you there? So I did a lot of research. I did a lot of surveys to ask a bunch of consultants, coaches, a little bit everywhere, why they thought they weren't making that amount of money. And what they replied was also what I thought back then. And a big mistake that I made back then that I see a lot of people making today. And the answer that I read is mostly, if only I would have more clients, if only I would have more people who would come to me, if I would have more leads, my entire life would change, right? If I would have 10 people, 10 coaching clients, then I would make it. If then, right? That was my belief as well. I thought, well, wow, 10,000 is such a big number. And just as a parenthesis, I coached recently a young person that's already making 10, 15,000 a month. And I told that person, we're going to now get to $50,000 per month. And the same kind of reaction, the same kind of overwhelm showed up, which was, oh my God, that is such a huge amount of money. How am I ever going to find that many clients to get to $50,000 a month? So it's always that same reaction of, oh my goodness, I will need to find a lot of clients. And that's where people get it wrong. It's not the amount of leads. And Even if you had leads, interestingly enough, if you don't have all the other missing pieces together, you won't be able to even close those leads. You won't be even able to get them as the clients you should get so that you can grow your business. So that is very important to understand. So even if you had the leads, and I repeat it because it's important for you to get this part, even if you had a ton of leads, you would not be able to bring your business to a next level of success if you don't have the other missing pieces in place. What are the other missing pieces in place? The other missing pieces in place is you gotta have clarity in your offer, in what you offer exactly. You have to have clarity of who you are as a consultant, as a coach, what differentiates you, who you are. Why? Because that is the way that you're gonna set yourself apart from anyone else. And eventually that will lead you to a state where you no longer have to seek clients so much. And that is a much better state of being in a place where you actually have people come to you or are referred to you, or you get money coming, like it's happening to me all the time, coming out of nowhere, literally, than you running and exhausting yourself trying to always find that next client. If I can only have one more client, and you burn yourself out, and you're overwhelmed and you're fatigued and you're stressed out because you're always on the verge of, yeah, but I don't have enough clients, I will never make it, and you have all this buildup of negativity that is preventing you from doing your job to the best you can. And that's where I was also. I was at a state in my life where I had a few clients, but I felt like I was always running to be able to close my month, to be able to come with enough money for whatever I had. And I didn't realize that I was doing it all wrong. So you need to understand that leads will not necessarily give you what you want in terms of income, especially long term. Give you another example. I opened a website that eventually went to 7 figures. But when I started the consulting, the online consulting business with that website, I did one big mistake. I also thought I need a lot of leads. So I did what a lot of people would do, is invest in marketing, invest in ads, or test this, test that to get more leads. And I would spend a lot, not necessarily transforming those leads into high level clients and having an offer that actually would bring me that amount of money that I wished for. So I was kind of always running in circles. And I had a lot of leads. I still have a lot of leads and a lot of fans. But it's not there that you start. Where you really have to start is here. You have to start in your head. You have to be clear that what you want is, for example, $10,000 per month. And be really clear on that decision first. And that's where a lot of people make a mistake, is that they wish, and I was like that too. Oh, I wished if only that would be so nice. But I didn't make the real decision of doing whatever it takes to get me to that level. And I remember, like I said, when I really made that decision of making $10,000 a month, I remember that moment. It just so happened that I had a possibility of going to a weekend seminar with Laura Langemeyer, a millionaire maker. I remember when I thought, oh my gosh, she's a millionaire maker, and now that's what I do. And I remember when I saw her, I was like all in awe. And she was offering a few spots in coaching, and not everybody could get those, especially one-on-one coaching, because she first she would ask much more amount for individual coaching. The only reason why she took me on board was because I had this online consulting business that I could scale, that eventually scaled massively, but I was struggling a little with it, and I had something that nobody else had. And that's my kind of my unfair advantage, is that I speak a few languages, and so that website was in French, and it kind of interests her to see if she could penetrate the French market, and we could maybe work together. So the thing is that, yes, she would be willing to give me a little bit of her time, but her fee was $10,000, which, and that was like, you can imagine, I was struggling to make like $2,500, $3,000 a month, and she was asking 10 grand, and it would be 10 grand for not even an hour, because it was 10 minutes here, 10 minutes there. So it ended up not really being an hour of her time. Nonetheless, I maxed out all my credit cards, and I decided to book her, and I invested in that coaching with her. Within a month, I made, with the lessons she taught me, with the few strategic changes she taught me, I made $100,000 the next month. Huge difference. So you can imagine, from struggling to 2,500 to making 100 grand, it was a huge, huge, huge difference. And the difference came from opening my perspective. She helped me open my mindset. And also, I worked for many years on all the negative beliefs, all our limiting beliefs. And our limiting beliefs and our mindset prevents us from taking the right decisions at the right time. What we do is we stop ourselves from having more success because of our limiting beliefs. So remember this: everything you believe is going to see its realization in real life. So whatever you believe, you will create in your reality, no matter what it is, no matter how outrageously beautiful the goal is, no matter how catastrophic the fear is. Eventually you will manifest it. You will create it in your life. Why? Because your brain is there to find ways to give you reason, to give you truth, to give you to tell you that you are right. No matter what you think, your brain is there to say, yes, you're right. So if you think I'm not good enough, the brain is going to support it and say, yes, you're right. If you think I'm the best, I'm a successful person, money comes to me easily, $10,000 per month is a joke, brain is going to say yes. But whatever the brain says yes to, that has enormous consequences. What are the consequences? Is that as soon as you change your limiting state of being, as soon as you change your mindset, as soon as you change your mind, you will see that your personality, your character will start to shift and change. You will start to take actions that you would have never taken before. You would maybe dare take a risk that you would have stopped yourself to make before, because of fear-driven decisions, of doubt-driven decisions, of limiting beliefs-driven decisions. I had a chance that day to make either the decision based on fear, which was, oh my goodness, I can't max out all my credit cards and give her 10 grand. Are you kidding me? Because I'm going to die, or it's going to be the end of the world, or I'm going to lose my apartment, I'm going to end up in the street. All the negative beliefs, all the negative and doubts and fears that lead you to a negative decision that actually block you from taking a positive step. And the other one that was kind of a daring action, saying, you know what, because I changed that state of mind, I changed my belief system, and the daring state of saying, you know what, I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to take this really daring action, a little bit this kind of scary thing that's bringing me outside of my comfort zone, because I believe I can do something if I have the right tool, if I have the right knowledge from someone who's been there. So she gave me her knowledge, a little bit here and there, that helped me make 100 grand. So 10 times more than what I invested with her. All of that is to bring you back to understanding that what you believe will be what will bring your mind to different thoughts. If you believe that you're good enough, you will have thoughts, you will make decisions, you will get into habits that prove that you're good enough. If you think that you're not good enough, on the other hand, you will do the same, but on the other hand. So you will make decisions, you will take actions, you will start habits that will just reinforce the belief that you are not good enough, that you're not worth $10,000. All these mental blogs that come and say, oh, but I'm not worth $10,000. How can I even think? How can I even dare to dream? How can I even believe that? Somebody recently told me it's impossible. Savika, it's impossible to make $10,000 a month. And when I told them what I make, they told me I was lying until they saw my bank account. And when I told them what my clients' results were, they freaked out. It was too big for their minds to even comprehend, to even understand. When I say, I'm looking for $150 million for my films, people are like in shock. It's so big that they can't even comprehend those kind of numbers. So for me, when I speak of 10 grand, it's almost not that much, right? It's almost nothing. And yesterday I was actually calculating other numbers, of how much I'm worth per hour, for example. And it was kind of interesting numbers to calculate. So $10,000 a month is big if you consider it big, if you consider your own value under that value. And if your belief system is that you do not deserve, or you're not good enough, or you're not smart enough, or you're not whatever enough to get there. Because let me tell you this, if you have 200 leads tomorrow, you're probably going to sabotage them all, or a majority. Why? Because if you don't believe that you're worth it, you'll sabotage your success. You'll sabotage the means by which you can achieve that amount of money. And if you do reach that amount of money, you will spend it really radically in stupid ways, just because you don't believe that you deserve that amount of money. You see what I'm saying? So it's very important that you change what you believe. That's the first thing. That you change your self-esteem, because your self-esteem will immediately impact your self-confidence. Your self-confidence will immediately impact how you behave with others. So in the case, for example, of having more leads, well, when you get the leads, you will behave differently with the leads, right? So instead of perhaps closing maybe only 10 leads out of 100, or one lead out of 20, because you lack the self-confidence, you don't know much how to present your offer, you're not sure of who you are really, or what you're really able to do, or what the real value you bring. When you don't have any of those really like anchored, then you can have 1,000 leads tomorrow. Having more leads and investing in marketing is really great at scale. Once you are beyond 30 grand a month or 50 grand a month, that's when it's really, really cool to invest in scaling the business. But at that level, you're also backed up with admin, you have support system, customer service, etc. So you have all this a system to support the scale. Nowadays, if you spend in advertising or marketing, but you're not really sure of yourself, you don't have the belief or your doubts block you, or your negative thoughts prevent you, or you start off the day with at the wrong foot because you have all these worries, these concerns, these uncertainties, all of that will immediately prevent you from being the best that you can be. So I started this live by saying, how grateful I am for my cats that I love really deeply. And why I started by saying that is because every morning I start my day with breathing. I do a lot of breathing exercises. So I open myself, I open my lungs, I open my heart to be receptive to all the abundance that is in the world, because I believe profoundly that I deserve all of that. But I didn't start like that. For 36 years, my first 36 years, I thought that I was non-deserving. I didn't believe in myself. I had so many fears and doubt. I was always thinking negatively about everything. And no matter what I tried, I failed. But I was almost like expecting to fail somehow because I didn't have that belief system and that self-esteem to support any success. And I was poor, of course. My relationships were horrible. And you bring into your life what you think you deserve. So look at around your life. What you have right now is what you think you deserve. Somewhere in your subconscious mind. If you don't like what you see, you better change the way you think about yourself. Because until then, you will always bring in your life what you think you deserve. And I was bringing into my life violent people that treated me really, really, really bad. Why? Because somewhere inside my brain, I had absolutely no self love. And if someone would love me just a little bit, I would endure whatever just because they love me just a little bit. And that wasn't even love. So money was another issue. I was brought up in a world where rich people are evil, where money doesn't grow on trees, where every time my parents or my family saw someone pass by in a really beautiful car, they always said, well, he must have scammed the system, or he's a mafiosi, or he's someone who, he's a drug dealer. So they always pointed real successful people with negativity. And so I associated making money with something that is unlovable, that is not nice, that is ugly, that is untruthful. And I always thought I'm a good person, right? I'm an honest person. I don't want to steal, rob, lie. And so when my upbringing was that all of those were connected with all that negativity, I kind of connected money with all that negativity. And so please, God, prevent me, right, from having too much, because then I will become like all those bad people. And so there's a lot of that needs to be worked on and changed in order to really have, and also the other thing is to open oneself mind to thinking bigger, to thinking, wow, what could I do with $10,000 a month? How would my life change with 10 grand a month? I know my life changed completely because suddenly I wasn't struggling anymore to make ends meet. Suddenly I could really breathe. All those breathing techniques that I did before, well, they were kind of within me because, well, life was kind of easier. I didn't live above my means. So the money that I was generated suddenly appeared to be much more than what I could spend. And suddenly I had money in the bank, which was wow, right? Wow. What a strange concept. Having more money in the bank that I need, that I can spend, and then that I can spend, that I really can spend. So then eventually it's like you go to a level where you think, oh, so money is not an end anymore. And for my entire life and my entire career, money was an end because I needed to, it was for existence, for survival. And suddenly when you pass after the 10K per month, money doesn't come anymore for, unless, of course, unless you live above your means, but that's not the point here. The point is that you reinvest some of that money to grow your business and then scale slowly but surely until you scale to a level where you are a millionaire. And it's really interesting that the worst part that you have to go through is the part from 0 to 10,000. And then it comes a little easier from 10 to 50. And then I'd say much easier from 50 to 250. And then from 250 to a million, it's not that big of a leap. It's really like a curve where you feel like it's a big long line and then suddenly it becomes exponential like that. It's really the way it goes. And then my goal, for example, is 10 million a month, which I find is that's kind of a big leap for me personally. Um, So I'd say that going from 7 figures to, or 8 figures to 10 figures is probably for now what I find to be a big leap. But ask a billionaire and they'll say, that was a joke. So, right, so you see things easier once you go through them and once you pass them. And that's what I kind of want you to experience. I want you to experience that moment where you realize that you are in control of who you are, that you are in control of your mind, that you are in control of your thoughts, that you are in control of your emotions, that you do deserve much more than you think, that the world is there to surprise you with much more than you think, that life only awaits for you to accept and open your arms for all the abundance that is there for you, and that God created you, just you. And so for God to create all the stars of the universe, all the planets, all the trees, all the bugs, everything, and then spend some time to decide that, hey, you are also worth being on this planet. You unique being that is irreplaceable. Never gonna be two of you ever. Sometimes I look at Fluffy or I look at Muffin and I'm thinking, oh my goodness, this is the last time that a muffin like this, a cat like that, will ever exist on the planet. So I'm blessed to have the opportunity to share my or her life while she's here, right? And so you, the same way, you are that unique being that will never ever exist again. So how amazing that is to know that God put you on this planet, unique being, and because of that, you don't have to prove that you're worth something. You don't have to prove anything to anybody apart from yourself. You have to prove to yourself that you are worthy. And how you do that is by doing your best. By doing your best and by working on yourself, by doing whatever it takes to improve and to become better. I hope this helps. I want to complete this live by telling you that something very exciting is taking place. I worked very, very hard to create something extremely unique and extremely powerful that will help you get to $10,000 a month and beyond. And a very, very, very special offer that is only gonna last for so long. And there's a reason for that. And for those who are interested, they'll understand the reason. And that only a few can have, again, for the same reason. So for any of you right here that want to know more, please write 10 in 10 in the comments, and I will reach out personally to you and chat to see if there's a fit for you for what I have to offer. If not, it'll be a great chat anyway, and you'll get something to take out of it. And if not, well, continue watching, continue being here. I really appreciate you all. Really, I know what you're going through. I've been there, and I feel like a mommy trying to help her kids to grow and be successful and take care of you and make sure that you're doing well. As I would have liked someone to do that for me. I studied a lot. I spent a lot of time learning. I have a curious mind, and I read a lot. I study a lot. I analyze a lot. I became obsessed with success over 15 years ago when I lost everything. I didn't have a job. That was exactly 30, when I was 36, so almost 15 years ago. And I thought it was the end of my life, literally. I really thought of committing suicide. That's how bad I thought my life was at that point, because I had reached rock bottom. And if I dig myself out of that rut that was extremely horrific, a dark place I don't wish my worst enemy to ever even have to experience. If I got myself out of it and a few years later have an extraordinarily successful, not one, but a few businesses, and thriving to even open what some people think is unimaginable, a film production company, I think you can do anything. I really do. I think you can become anyone you desire, if only you make the decision and if you do what it takes. That's really what the real secret is to make a real decision and then run with it, do whatever it takes and work and go through everything you have to go through to make it, because it is so sunny on the other side. It is absolutely a gorgeous place to be. I can attest to that. And I lived a life that I couldn't dare dream 15 years ago. I could not dare to dream. Not even dare to dream. Beyond what I could ever possibly imagine my life would ever look like, ever. So I love you all. Thank you for watching this. And please comment 10 in 10 if you want me to reach out and send you a message so that I see if you are fit for this amazing thing that I have for you. So I love you and see you soon. Bye, everyone.